I think that's okay. Okay. Hi, everybody. Hello. Hi. Hello. Thank you for coming in. I hope everybody's doing well. I am just pulling up the video on my laptop. And I'm going to turn off the sound. Okay, if you have any questions, guys, you can put them in all caps. Before we get started. Okay, let me see if I can get the comments. Allergies, allergies. Hello, Helen. Hey, Nas. Hi, Michelle. Hi, Tamika. Hi, Karen. Hello, Erica. Shawana, Ladybug Palmer, Michelle, Maria, Lisa, Nelson, Natalie Jenkins, Pit Stop Kitchen and Garden. Hi, Brenda King. Knows Better TV or Know Better TV and Do Better. Seed to Soul, I love your name. Siobhan, hi. Echo Neighbor, greetings. Hello for the love of gardening. Have you canned Concord Grape Jam? No, I haven't done Concord Grape Jam. Yes, I have. I'm sorry. I was thinking of Thompson Seedless Grapes. Hi, Dan from Dan's Permaculture Food Forest. Hi, Yvette. Hello, Angela Franklin. Hi, May. Natalie Jenkins. But it's very easy to do. I mean, it doesn't really matter specifically what kind of grapes you have. Who was that asked me that? Echo or Eco Neighbor. No, I'm sorry. That was Helen that asked me that. Eco Neighbor wants to know how long have I been growing? Probably about 40 years. Are you talking about anything specific? Yeah, I'm 66 and I started growing house plants basically in my 20s, and in my 30s I started growing food. Hi, May. Hey, Crystal Pets and Plants. Good to see you. Anita. Oh, Anastasia. I guess that's how you pronounce it. Playing in My Dirt is here. Okay, the first thing I'm going to do is find some paper and give you guys my email address. I've had a couple of people to comment. Hey, Helen, thank you. Brenda Allen, hey, you're in Cincinnati visiting your daughter, but you're here. All right, and still canning. Girl, you are doing it. I'm so proud of you. And I'm sure you're passing that on to your daughter, Brenda. Thank you. Oh, as I was saying, I've had several people to contact me on my post and videos about my email address. So, oh man, sometimes I get ahead of myself because I got a lot of different email addresses. Excuse me, but this is the one that you can email me 0875 at att.net. I think what some of you are doing ATNT.net, and it's not that. It's just ATT.net. Cheryl Moss, no spaces. Can y'all see that? At att.net. If you want to take one of my conferences for canning, or if I ask you to email me specifically about something, because I'm getting a lot of emails, not to fuss or nag or whine, but some people are emailing me like I'm Google. So you need to do some research, and I don't mind helping you. If you take one step, I'll take two. So first, please research, and if nobody else can help you as far as you looking up Google, farmersalmanac.com, or join some Facebook groups. But don't email me unless I specifically ask you something. Thank you, Tamika, for posting that for me. I don't think I have any moderators in here yet. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Hello, Miss B. Washington. Okay, I'm going to start take the first question from Eco Neighbor. You are so beautiful. Oh, thank you. I struggle with indoor plants. What do you grow in low lights? Okay, now I stopped growing inside as far as house plants. I don't grow anything that needs, like you can see a snake plant over my shoulder there, or mother-in-law plant. And I'll bring my wandering Jews, my hanging baskets in, and put them by my back patio doors during the winter. And I bring my soursops in, but I just use natural lighting for that. So I don't do a lot of house plants because I just got so much on my plate. But I do use fluorescent lights and full spectrum lights occasionally when I try to experiment and grow food inside during the winter. But I'm at the point now where I'm not even doing that anymore because I have a not big greenhouse, but a 20 feet by 10 feet by 7 feet tall, greenhouse. So I basically can get everything in there that I want to house over the winter. Okay. So everybody basically is speaking, is saying hello to everybody. Okay, so what I want to share with you today, right off, yes, Eco Neighbor, I grow 365 days of the year. I grow food all year long. I'm in zone 8A in Mesquite, Texas, right outside of Dallas, Texas. And the coldest I've been living in my home for over 30 years. And the coldest that we got, what is this flapping? I don't know. Oh, I got this choker that has a ribbon on it. Oh, excuse me. And the coldest that we have ever gotten was 16 degrees. So things like collards, kale, mature cabbage, broccoli, depending on what state, growth state you're in, and cauliflower, kohlrabi takes 20. All of those can take lower than 15 degrees. Some of them can take 5 degrees. And if there are mature plants, they could take 0 degrees. So yes, I can grow all year round. But I have a lot of tropical plants and trees that I keep in the greenhouse. And then I get an early start on my tomatoes. I start my tomatoes in January in the greenhouse, and I am through with my harvest before the second week of June. I don't even try to grow tomatoes in Texas when it is over 100 degrees, because tomato plants will not produce blooms to turn into flowers once it get that hot. And I see people struggling, and I see them posting questions on Facebook groups that I'm in, asking the same questions year after year after year, while their plants are not producing, while their tomato plants are not producing. It's to the point where I don't even answer those questions, because you get into a big debate. And when it's real hot, they just don't make a flower, and they don't be correctly developed. Now, there are some exceptions to the rule. You can shade them. If you get a windbreak in your yard and you can create a microclimate where it's a little bit cooler, you may be able to get a few plants. But I don't like to waste my time with plants that are struggling. It's just me. So, yeah, I grow my tomato plants in the wintertime, and I have a small space electric heater that I heat the greenhouse if it's going to be lower than 40 degrees. And I think I told you guys last week, but if you're new to my live, the only reason why I bring the soursop trees in is because they will die with a temperature 40 degrees or lower. And Dan, Permaculture Food Forest, you in here, and I think I remember you getting some soursop seeds, and you're going to try it. You're a little bit warmer than me where you are. I think you're in zone 9. You may have opportunity to grow yours outside, but I won't be able to. Okay, let me back up. Hi, Simsha. I hope I'm saying that right. Hi, Byron Holmes. Mendisa. Erica Jones. Hello, everybody that I missed. Ebony Queen 49. Janet Powell, and In the Blue 222. And hey, Michelle, nice to see you. Okay. Somebody said they got 10 soursops from seeds. From your experience, are they heavy feeders? No. I just give mine a little comfrey tea. That's it. Maybe 3 times a year. And my trees are 3 years old, grown from seed. I'm hoping to get fruit next year. How do you manage your soil? What do you mean? Do you mean, do I do soil test? I don't do that anymore. I haven't done a soil test maybe in about 4 years, because I've been growing in the same soil. I give it comfrey tea that I make from comfrey that I grow in the food forest. I give it weed tea that I make out of when I pull up weeds out of my wood chips. I ferment it and dilute it depending on what I'm doing. I give my soil worm castings, compost tea, and a lot of compost when I can. This year, because of the pandemic, I did an emergency garden to help others, and so I'm out of compost right now. I have some, but it's not broken down enough. Okay? Yeah, Team Bennett and Wales, I grow all year long. Yeah, I've heard it's getting cool in some zones, but it was in the 80s today here, and upper 80s. It's going to be lower 90s for the rest of the week. Hi, Martha. How you doing? I'm looking for questions. Oh, canning caramelized onions today using my method. Didn't realize had temp set to keep warm instead of low majority of the day. Ah. So you're going to make beef stew out of it. Cool. Eco neighbor, morning sun or evening sun? I'm not understanding. I'll go to the next question and give you a chance to let me know what you're saying. My seedlings have become leggy. Should I start over? I'm growing lettuce and greens. Erica, if they're real leggy, Start over. If it's tomato seeds and they're leggy, you can bury those stems lower. But if you're starting off with a sick plant, you're going to have a sick crop. And depending on where you are, Erica, you may have time to just direct sow them. Okay. Stacy, this is a good question. Squash vine border in a container with squash plant. Can I reuse the soil? Yes, you can, but I wouldn't plant anything that would be attacked by squash vine border. And I certainly wouldn't put it in that same container in the spring when you're going to grow squash again. Depending on the size of the container, if it's not a lot of soil, I would boil a teapot or a kettle full of water and pour it over there. But if it's a big container and you may have earthworms and beneficial insects in there, that will actually help in decomposing whatever you have in there and aerating it and making your soil fluffy, then I wouldn't do it. But if it's a small container, put some boiling water over there and you'll kill the squash eggs. Okay. Crystal is 70s here in Kansas State. Yeah, it's getting kind of cool in certain areas. How you doing, White Davy Gardening and Worm Farm? Oh, wonderful. Okay, Helen Lee is in Honolulu. So limited on growing things here. You don't have a lot of space. You used to do a lot of container growing. Okay, when candy vegetables, what is the shelf life? Okay, now I'm going to give you the politically correct answer. According to Balls and Care, which have merged to one company, they say 18 months. And that's because they want to avoid lawsuits. On the box of the lids, it tells you 18 months is the maximum of time. But I have jars that I have canned 3-4 years ago, maybe 5. 2016, I think is the oldest one. As long as that seal is there, and you don't see anything funny growing on it or anything, check your shelves, your pantries periodically and check your lids. Now, that doesn't mean if you don't see anything growing, doesn't mean that it can't be, because botulism is invisible. You can't see it with the naked eye. So if you got something that you've canned for over 2 years, you might want to heat it up for 10 minutes before you eat it. But if you see anything moldy, anything that has a foul odor, throw it out. Fall has been much better for growing than the summer. This is Jockey 23 Kids. Yeah, I get a better garden in the fall and winter than I do the summer because when it's 108 degrees. And I'm going to talk about my greenhouse tonight. It gets very, very hot. It can get like, if it's 108 degrees outside, it's like 120. It goes to 120 on the thermometer, but it's really hotter than that in there. So what I do is I cut my cover off of my greenhouse. Now you probably say, well, why you want to cut your cover off and you can get a couple years out of it or 3 years out of it? Well, I buy the covers in the wintertime when they're on sale. I talked about that last Sunday night because it was the holiday that Monday. I get them on sale and I put them up. I got one over here at the back door that I bought, I think it was March or April on eBay, and it was real cheap. It was less than $100. So because I don't spend a lot of money on groceries, because I basically eat the majority of what I grow, I would say between maybe about 75% of what I eat comes out of my garden, and I can and preserve through freezing and dehydrating, okay? So if I spend $100 a year on the greenhouse, that's not a lot of money because I save so much during the year. Does that make sense? Okay, I just want to make sense. So, where was I? Oh, so I got a lot of email, and I got one request in particular from Bear Fruit Gardening, and asked me would I consider doing a series on growing in the greenhouse, because this is another way to garden all year long for people to start doing during the pandemic. You know, we got people gardening for the very first time. We have people canning for the very first time. And canning manufacturers are making a lot of money right now. And the jars and the lid manufacturers are making a lot of money because people don't want to be taken advantage of with price gouging, so they are canning and growing more of their own food like never before. Canners are selling out. I've got my eye on the second canner, and the people that were in my canning conference call class yesterday, we were discussing how, you know, it's hard to get one. And so I want one more so I can have two canners going at the same time and figure I can get done quicker. But I'm going to wait until the price goes down. Okay, so now I'm going to go back. Okay, Kenya, the reason why you automatically went into hide mode is because when a person like me has a channel and you mention another channel, they'll automatically put you in timeout. I think that's how I think they do it, and also the content creator, which is me, has the right to choose what they want. So I don't shout out other channels because they can have their own lives. But I do give everybody an opportunity when I can remember it to shout out if they have a channel. So I just see a warning by what you were trying to say. But I think you said you gave my channel a shout out. And I don't know if he appreciates that or not. I would say thank you, but I would be careful about doing that. Just a little warning. Okay. It's great that, that you save so much growing, you spend it in other. Yes, that's exactly right. No Better TV. Because my son, one of my sons was saying, Mom, why you calling me over here to help you with this? Did we put one on last year? I said, yes. And I cut it out. Now, I'm going to get to that point. I got to make notes. I start cutting holes in the greenhouse to get more ventilation. When the temperature goes up to 90 degrees, about March or April down here, then everything's burning up in the greenhouse. So I start cutting out holes and making holes in it. And then this year, I couldn't get nobody to help me because our city went on lockdown, and I really didn't want anybody here either. In February, so I started cutting holes in March and April. I think it was after Mother's Day that we started feeling like we can come and social distance in each other's homes. So I never really removed all of the bottom of the greenhouse cover for the simple reason that I have it staked into the ground, and then those cement blocks that we make garden beds out of, I have that going all around. And it was just, I knew it was going to be just too much for me to do. So I didn't take it all the way off, but I will get some help. Okay. The next, hi, that lady Dre. Heather Hernandez says, where did you get your greenhouse from? I was telling people in the pressure canning class yesterday that I put a bid on eBay. And I think it was either $119 or $129. I don't remember. But I know that the greenhouse was selling for around $189, $199. And I really didn't think I was going to win. And when they emailed me and told me that I won, I was elated. So anyway, I bought that greenhouse. Because before then, I had a greenhouse that I paid much more money for. It was one of those flower mound, I want to say. It was a 10 by 10, 7 feet high. And I just ran out of room. I couldn't, get everything in that I wanted to. Greenhouse covers. Okay, I'm sorry. I went too fast. Greenhouse covers. I got to go back and watch that video. I need one of those. Yeah, I have a shade cloth cover for my greenhouse. And that greenhouse that I bought, the one that I have, it had some manufacturing flaws. For example, the crossbars had the bolts sticking up that you put the nut on, and then when the wind would rock it back and forth, it wore through the plastic. So to solve that problem, I took foam tape and wrapped it around there. It might have been like what they call the first generation model of that greenhouse, and then they improved it more and more. I think that's what happened. And that's why I got it so cheap. But thank goodness I knew what to do. Okay? Excuse me. Okay. Okay, I moved my food into the greenhouse. I moved my foods into the greenhouse. Great idea. Topic spoke on greenhouse on cake. Okay, you still keep mentioning somebody's okay. All right. So yeah, that's what I'm going to be talking about. Okay, Know Better TV and Do Better said, I'm 63 and I've never seen canners sell out in my life. I know. People sold out of seeds. The only compost amendment that I like is Black Cow. You cannot find it in North Texas because it has to be aged. So I respect the company and by not throwing stuff out there that's not all the way aged, but you cannot find it. Okay, hi Lady Cheryl, which book would you recommend for dehydrating for newbies? I never bought any. It's too much information on YouTube and Facebook and Pinterest, Trinity. So I don't have any dehydrating books. I just learned from my mom, my grandmother, and YouTube. Okay? Okay, thank you for sharing ways to cool off your greenhouse. It can be a challenge. Yes, Eco Neighbor. And so that's what I was going to talk about today. But before I do, I'm going to, hi Autumn Whisper, and hi Betty Jackson. I can't find the canning tools anywhere. Did you check with Amazon? They had all the tools, up until a couple weeks ago, last time I checked, but I really don't know. But let's talk about the pressure canning class. We had 4 people out of 12 to show up, which was cool. I know everybody was going to show up. And that class was absolutely free. And I communicated with each person several times through email with explicit instructions. And I said, if you can't make it, don't interrupt the class and call and let us know you're not going to make it. Just shoot me an email. Nobody did. So I was a little disappointed. However, they missed out on the golden opportunity because the class now is $25. So for those of you that are interested, you can email me at Cheryl's. No, I'm sorry, that's my grandbaby texting me at Cheryl Moss 0785. And anybody in that class will tell you that class is well worth over $25. In fact, somebody, I don't want to call the person's name out, but they cash apped me the money. I wasn't even expecting it. But I was on the phone for about 3 hours with the class, and it was so rewarding. It made me feel like I did when I was managing beauty college or being an instructor, and my student went to the state board and passed the test and became a licensed cosmetologist. That's a rewarding feeling. And that's how I felt when everybody got the pressure up, everybody put their weight on. We sat there and we talked about all types of things about canning and different things that you can pressure can. And we just had a good time, guys. And I put people on teams, and I was cheating because everything that they were telling me, I was typing it into my computer. And so I knew who had an electric stove, who had a gas stove, how many minutes they had approximately left. And it was just a lot of fun. And when we finished, everybody had a chance to me instruct them how to take that weight off, how to take the lid off, how to remove, because when you're doing it by yourself and you at home for the first time, you can get nervous. Also, you'll get nervous because I did a couple of them Zoom, and when I'm looking at every move that they make, they get real nervous. So when you can hear me in your ear or speakerphone, but I'm not watching every little thing that you do, it relaxes the person. So I could tell them, take the wooden part of the jar gripper, put it in your palm, and the rubber part is the part that you put on the jar. Don't put it actually on the glass jar, put it on the ring that holds the lid, because it is the hottest portion. Metal heats up faster. And the rubber from the gripper will mold to the hot ring and it won't drop. Another thing I told them, while we were waiting the 90 minutes for the raw packed meat to pressure can, we got ready and we got either our wooden butcher board or some towels, and we put them close to the stove. So you didn't have to walk across the room with a hot jar. That would make you nervous. And nobody talked about anything blowing up, scaring the hell out of people when they're doing canning. You know, the best way to teach a student is to relax them, have them calm. And I gave them an example of how I used to teach chemical hair relaxing. And I used to watch some of the instructors that worked under me scare the hell out of students when it came to chemical hair relaxing. Okay, students, today we get ready to do a chemical relaxer. And if you do it wrong, you can burn the skin off the flesh off the person's scalp. So you got to be really careful. And I would come and say, hello, everybody, I'm Miss C, and I'm going to teach you how to make a lot of money today. Today, we're going to do chemical hair relaxing. I want everybody to be calm and relaxed because I'm going to show you how to take all safety and sanitation precautions. And you're going to have a repeat customer because they're going to have to come back to you to get a retouch. Now, relax. We're only going to use gel today, okay? And so we're not going to be hurting anybody, and you don't have to rush. Now, what kind of instructor would you rather have? The one that scared the hell out of the students or the one that came in real calm? I'm going to look for the comments. So that's my approach to helping coaching somebody with canning. I never mention something blowing up or a jar cracking. Or these people that were in the class will tell you those words never came out of my mouth. And when I tell you, when each individual person took their jar out the canner, I wasn't there, but you can feel the excitement in the voice. Oh, look at it, it's boiling. Now that's my favorite part too, is to watch them still boiling when you take them out and set them down. It was almost like giving birth. I know some of you are gonna think we crazy, but they'll tell you, we were clapping like somebody gave birth with all 4 of them. And this is how I get my reward. I get a kick out of helping someone. I can't explain it to you. It's a joy that it gives me. It gives my life purpose to help someone. It's not all the way about money. But I noticed yesterday when we did that class and we only had 4 out of 12, if you have to pay up front, you're going to be there. And my time is valuable. You all know I'm doing my skincare, and God is really blessing my business. In fact, I changed my YouTube channel today again. First, it was Cheryl's Organic Food Forest. And everywhere I go into a live chat, somebody called out Lady Cheryl. Somebody says, "Who's Lady Cheryl?" And then I say, "I'm Lady Cheryl." And it hit me one night. I said, I need to put Lady in front of my name. So I changed it to Lady Cheryl's Organic Food Forest. And today, before I came on air, I changed it again. Because YouTube will let you change your name 3 times in 90 days. And I had never changed mine. Yes, I did. Because I started off as Cheryl's Taste of Heaven Backyard Garden in 2015. And then several years ago, I changed to Cheryl Organic Food Forest. And so today, before I came on this live chat, I changed it to, I just added, and natural products. So it's Lady Cheryl's Organic Food Forest and natural products. Okay? Okay, that's a text. Okay, so let me catch up and see what anybody wrote. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Where is your greenhouse from? eBay. Okay. Hello, woman to woman, good to see you. Okay. I'm glad you guys are here. Okay, just checking my questions before I move on. Okay, so somebody said they don't know about used items. That Lady Dre? No, we've been, all of us OG canners in the gardening community have been telling people, check with their local Facebook market page, check the Salvation Army, the Goodwill, thrift stores, garage sales, estate sales. I don't think there's nothing wrong with buying a canner, especially a Presto, because Ace Hardware online sells all of the parts. Sure does. Okay. Hello, Dana. Erica Taylor said the ones that did not show up was very unappreciated. That's about your time. Yeah, my free time. I could have been doing my orders that I got over the weekend because I had to go to the post office today to mail everything. Mama, daughter, sister, did you find your jars? Hey, mama, sister, daughter, good to see you. Yeah, Ace Hardware has all of the parts for the Presto online. Deborah Fortner says she ordered some products and you haven't received them yet. I'll check. Let me write it down. I'll check and track your package. And I'll email you and let you know what I found, Deborah. I do know some of those original packages, those orders, when I was doing free shipping, I shipped some of the packages retail first class. And the post office has been slowed down intentionally. I don't want to get into politics, but there was a delay. But now everything is going out priority mail confirmation. So I promise you, Deborah, I got a big star and a circle by your name here, and I will check that when I get off tonight, okay? And I'm sorry about that it was delayed. But like I said, everybody now is getting their products in 2 or 3 days. Turf Therapy got my package, and I'm loving this hair milk, Lady Cheryl. Oh, that makes me smile. Thank you, Turf. Yes, we are waiting on post office. Yeah, Orchids for Dummies. I got a card on the 8th of September that was mailed on August 28th. A couple states over. That's ridiculous. So some of it I can't help, but I will promise you, Deborah, I'll check it out. And going forward, everything I'm doing is priority mail confirmation. So it gets there in 2 to 3 days. You waited 2 weeks on the 3-day shipping. That's retail first class. That's the one that's holding up everything. Because my own sister-in-law lives in Gary, Indiana, and she was one of the first people that ordered from me, and it went out, and she didn't get hers until about 11 days later. So I'm sorry. Gardening with Joy, I'm loving the hair growth promoter. I'm telling you, that's my #1 product. I never stopped making it, even when I was sick and couldn't hardly walk. I still made my hair growth promoter for my customers locally here. Okay. So yeah, thank you, Orchid for Dummies. So it's not me. I just know now I can't send anything first class retail. I got to send everything priority mail. And you all know what that means. It's going to be $1 or more on the shipping. And let me share this with you. I'm not ashamed to tell anybody this. I restarted my company by my bootstraps, going into my little savings, because I'm retired, right? And I stopped shipping products out in 2015. That's when I got sick and had to have surgery again. I did not know that the shipping cost was as high as it was when I offered free shipping. And I can show you receipts. I spent some coins on that shipping. I spent over $307 on it, and I had to borrow money from my son, the one that said, "Mama, you can do it. You need to do your products again. You looking good. You feeling better. Mama, you need to do your products again." I had 150 products when I shut my website down in March of 2015. I started again with only 5. This is half of what, this ain't even a tenth of what I'm capable of doing. I just physically don't know if I can do all of that. So the point I'm making is, I didn't get any loans. I didn't get no COVID loan or Small Business Administration loans. I did this on my own, and every dime that I'm making, I'm putting back into the business. I wasn't going to really talk about this tonight. I'm going to just say a few more things, and I'm going to get back to the greenhouse stuff. But I will share this with you. I was blessed that I never gave up on my dream, and I had those clear totes, those 120-something gallon totes with bottles and jars and lids and things like that. I never sold them or gave them away. So always in the back of my mind, I thought I was going to be able to do it. Now, we talked about canners running out at stores and price gouging and jars being scarce. And now they're restocking with seeds, but seeds were getting real low. Because Baker Creek, one of the biggest online retailers of heirloom seeds, they didn't have nothing for a while. Okay? Now, what I want to tell you is, the jars are out of stock. The jars are out of stock. Bottles are out of stock. The few places that have them are jacking up the prices, price gouging. It's crazy. It's really crazy out here. So I just want to share that with you. So I'm no longer doing free shipping because I can't afford it. Yes, everything I want is out with Baker Creek. See, I knew it. And when they came back in stock with some of their stuff, because they don't grow everything that they get the seeds, they have farmers and small backyard gardeners that collect seeds. Instead of selling them on eBay, they sell them to Baker Creek. Okay? So when they came back on, y'all can look at my video. I did it in the live. I bought about 8 or 9 heirloom zinnias. I knew they was going to go out of stock again. So thanks for sharing that with us, whoever that was. Yolanda, thank you so much for sharing that with us. Monique says she got her hair milk and she used it on your 4-month granddaughter and her curls are popping. See, anything that I send you, you can use on the baby because it's natural. No chemicals, no synthetics, no artificial fragrances. No dyes that they put in stuff and turn it colors. You can use it on a baby that's just a day old, baby. It'll be okay. Thank you, Monique. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Let me go back up and say, Emilio says, Cheryl got a testimony. Oh, you haven't heard yet. I'm a cancer survivor, 29 years. A very aggressive form of breast cancer that was supposed to take me out. So I am a living testimony. Y'all don't want me to, I'm going to say it anyway. I'm a living testimony of God's goodness and his mercy because he allowed me to live. And that's why I do whatever I feel like the Spirit is directing me to do, because my life has a purpose and God wants me to do things, because if he didn't, he would have took me out. Does that make sense? I just want to make sense. Okay, so here we go. Woo! Yes, mama, sister, daughter, you know, I know you know. I just can't keep it to myself sometimes. I just can't. I'm sorry. The hair milk, Mary, will help detangle. It sure will. Okay. This God's creation is a blessing to mankind. Yes, ma'am. Okay. Sobinri, pronounced Sobinai. Oh, girl, please. I'm calling you Sobi. That's it. I told you, Sobi, you always comment on my videos, and when I start typing in S-O-B, my phone just automatically pop your name up. I'm glad you're loving the creamy body butter. Thank you. Any suggestions for a company that makes a good greenhouse? No. This is what I recommend you do. Go to eBay and Amazon. And let me share this with you. I've shared this before too. eBay and Amazon have some of the same merchants. I have ordered off of eBay and it came in an Amazon box. I've ordered off of Greenhouse Megastore.com, and it came in an eBay box with an eBay shipping label. So some of these people on all of these markets. So if I were you, because eBay is linked with PayPal and their reviews are verifiable, you cannot post a review on eBay unless you have been a buyer. Does that make sense? You have to be a buyer and for them to accept because they send you an email, how would you rate this? So look for a greenhouse, type in the dimensions that you're looking for, and check out all of the ratings of the sellers. And that's what I did when I bid on that greenhouse and won. The seller had a real high rating. I don't remember what it was, but I don't buy from anybody that has below a 98. And because, like I said, they go through PayPal, it's legit. I think eBay and PayPal, I haven't researched it, but I think they're probably the same corporation. Okay? So that's what yes, we are. Every chance I get, we're going to. Great is thy faithfulness. Girl, don't have me start singing up in here. Somebody said Harbor Freight sell greenhouses, the price double though. But Tanya, sometimes you can find those greenhouses at Harbor Freights and they have a coupon. I've seen some people on YouTube that bought 2 of the 10 by 10 by 7 and they put them together. And they got like 40% off of them because at certain times of the year, they'll go on sale real cheap. Okay. Thank you, Lolita. Sing this, Cheryl. I love the Lord. He heard my cry. Okay. PayPal used to be a part of eBay. Uh-huh. But it spun off into a separate company years ago. Mm-hmm. Either I knew that and forgot. Either I knew that and I forgot, or I suspected it. Thank you, sweetie. I appreciate you letting me know. Okay. Okay, Mary. Good question. Arizona is a little bit warmer than Texas, but we have very similar weather. Yes, Mary, a greenhouse, you want to know would it be beneficial in Phoenix, 9B? Yes, it would be beneficial, but know this, after March, you shouldn't use it. It's going to be too hot in there. But if you want to grow all year round, might be something you want to consider. You would be the perfect person to have all those tropical trees in there. That you don't have to drag into the house. Lolita said, my fall garden is now in the container and coming along well. Thank you. All right, Lolita. Yes, he did. Emilio pitied every groan. Thank you, Emilio. Thank you. Yes. Okay, let me go down here and see what's next. Over winter. Okay, thank you, Yolanda. Okay, so I think I got everybody's question. So I talked about the canning. Now I'm going to tell you about this. Anybody know what this is? Forgot all about it. You remember when I had the rodents and the rodents was eating up my seedlings that I started outside? I hadn't put any Irish Spring out. They don't like the smell of this. So if you got some little critters in your garden, you want to chase them away, put this all around the perimeter of your privacy fence, put it all around your gazebo, your patio, whatever you got, balcony, Irish Springs. I used to take them and put them in little bags. I don't even do that now. I just throw them out. But I forgot about it. I hadn't put any out since last winter. Forgot all about it. Get you some Irish Springs. It works. They hate the smell of it. And somebody said, I've always hated it too. That's funny. I don't know why I forgot all about it. And it's cheap. You can get it at the dollar store. Okay, now I'm going to show you the progress on my seedlings. You remember I shared with you I don't use those expensive lights and all that kind of stuff. I use regular 32-watt shop bulbs. And you guys know in my video that the ones that grew the strongest and the tallest first, I planted them outside, remember, with the netting. So now I'm going to show you how the little bitty tiny little seeds, after I put them under the shop lights, look how much they have grown. They look like the ones outside. Now, I don't have to prove nothing to you all, but I just like to show you, because seeing is believing. Look how these babies have grown. And you all know last week they weren't like this. That's one tray. I got 3 to put out tomorrow morning. The greenhouse, the grow room is closed now. It's the second tray. Collards, mustard, kale, 2 types of spinach. Red mustards, plain mustards, red Jamaican. And there's one more. I mean, they grew so fast under cheap little lights. See that? How tall they are. So I can only put 20 or 21 plants in an 8x10 bed. So some of these are going to go in some containers. And you remember in my video, if you've been following me, I transplanted 3 tomato plants. And I've got 2 more. These were the runts. Look how they've grown. And when I plant these tomorrow morning, this is going to go off. I'm going to do it right before your eyes. This is going to go off. And sometimes I take scissors if I have some. Can't see behind me. And this is going to go down in the soil all the way to here. Look close. You see all those little fuzzy roots? Look like peach fuzz? All of those will be big, strong roots. So this is going to go down deep. Everybody with me? Slide these 3 trays back. Now check this one out. This one was getting so tall that it was touching the light and I didn't know it. See that spot on the leaf? I had no idea. Who is that? I think it is Jockey 23 for Kids. Thank you very much. I appreciate you. So, see right here? This leaf is damaged. In fact, you see, look, it's melted to these 2 leaves. These 2 leaves have melted together. So I'm going to just go ahead and take it off. I mean, it's damaged anyway. And then I'm going to take this off. This off. Now, somebody asked me a question. They said their seedlings were too leggy. And I think I replied, if it's a tomato plant, you can plant it outside. This one, I'm going to plant it right here. Because these leaves they look really good. This is the brandy wine. It has more like a potato leaf. Can you see the difference in it? That's a potato-looking type of leaf. And here is a tomato-looking type of leaf. But they both are hardy tomato plants. And then what I do with this, right there as mulch, because it'll just break down, right? Okay. Checking stuff off my list. So I showed you my seedlings. Now these will have a shade cloth over them because I'm not going to acclimate them. And if you're new here to gardening, you know that when you take seeds out of an artificial light and they turn into seedlings like this, and then you just throw them outside in the sun, they're going to burn up. So I'm going to start shading these. I'm going to start off with 90% shade cloth. And by the way, I got the 90% shade cloth, I remember specifically at during the winter on Amazon. So those of you that are serious about gardening, I know all of you are because you wouldn't be here in this live chat. Buy your shade cloths around Christmas time. Real cheap. So I'm going to put these under 90% shade, and then I'm going to remove them for like 15 minutes. I have these little clips. You'll see in the video, because I'll probably make the video about Wednesday. I'll start planting these tomorrow. And I'll probably upload it Wednesday. And then I'll pull it back from the clips, depending on, how many minutes. And then I'll put the shade back on it. The next day, I'll do it a little bit more, 15-minute increments. Now, the first bed that I planted the seedlings in, I didn't shade it at all. Because if you watch my video, there was a garden bed here. There were trees. And then there was like the grow boxes I have elevated up on sawhorses and wood. And I had that. So it was so much shade around it that they just took off. They're doing really, really well. Okay? So we talked about pressure canning. We talked about the seedlings and what I'm going to be doing tomorrow morning. I told you about my name change. Let me fold this up again. It's posted. If you scroll back, you will see the email address if you're interested in pressure canning 101. Okay, so now the next thing I want to talk about is the greenhouse. If you're thinking about getting a greenhouse, you must have ventilation, ventilation, ventilation. Because if you don't, you will have so much congestion and high humidity in there that you will start to get mold. So if you're looking for a greenhouse like the one I have, like it's like a tunnel, polytunnel, and it has the plastic over it, it has 8 windows, 4 going down on one side and 4 going down on the other side. And you can raise those windows and they have a screen covering there. But I'm going to tell you, the screen deteriorates within 2 years in Texas because it's so hot. Okay? Got a question? Okay. So you need to have proper ventilation. Now, what did she say about pressure candy? I miss. You can go back and get the replay, sweetie. So, Naked Gardener, how you doing? Good to see you. I guess you and Lolita having a separate question. Oh, I said if you're interested in taking the pressure conference, teleconference, send me an email. And if you scroll up, you'll see my email address. I'll show it to you again. It's Cheryl Moss 0875 at att.net. Now, some people put in AT&T. It's att.net. I think that's why I don't get the email. And then they come on and they give me a comment saying they've been trying to email me. So do AT&T. The dimensions of the greenhouse that I have is 10 by 10 by 7. I'm going to go back because I'm missing something. What month do you harvest my foliar persimmons? October. But some people leave them on to the first frost. They say when the cold hits them, kind of like the thing about collard greens getting sweeter, they say the persimmons get sweeter. And who taught me that was Lead Farmer 73. I learned a lot from that guy. Lead Farmer 73 taught me a whole lot about persimmons. Okay, getting the next question. Oh, I think you said cabbage moth. You're probably talking about cabbage moth. See, Holmes, yes. We see cabbage moths all year long because we don't get a heavy, hard freeze. The coldest it got in Mesquite, Texas was 16 degrees last year. When do you stop trimming the tomato plant? I prune mine during the whole time. But I do prune suckers, and I'm trying to show you one. Okay, you see right here? Between this branch and this branch, when it get bigger, it will look like this. But you see this right here that's in between it? Can you see that? I always trim out, just pinched it off. I always trim off anything between a joint or an elbow. Okay? And then that makes my plants get bigger and harvest more tomatoes, or larger tomatoes. Okay, I got your question, Blessed too. You mentioned about sending an email. I gave you the address. Okay. And Miss Eco Neighbor put it up for me again. Thank you, Turf. I appreciate you. Okay, So next thing I want to talk about, we talk about ventilation and humidity. In fact, it gets so humid in there. I have a 3-station monitor that gives me the temperature in the greenhouse at different areas that I put the, what is the word, guys? Oh, well, I should have brought it. Next week I'll show it to you. In my bedroom, it's like a little monitor like this, and it has a line across here and a line here, and it tells you wherever you have your little thermometers, remote thermometers, it'll tell you the temperature and it'll tell you what the humidity is. And it gives you a smiling face or a sad face. Like if the humidity is real high, then it'll give you a frown. Or if the temperature is too low and it's getting ready to be freezing, it'll give you a frown. So if you wake up in the middle of the night and you don't put your glasses on if you don't see well, I can't because I'm nearsighted. You can see that face, that big face, and you'll know you got an issue. That helped me sleep at night. When I got that last year, I think it was the first year. I've always had thermometers out there, but I had the remote inside of the house where I can just reach over on my night table and look at it. Oh, everything's cool. So I don't have to worry about turning on the heat or anything like that. Because I have a calamandan tree. At that time, I had two soursop trees, a Miho Satsuma tree, 2 improved Meyer lemons, and 2 Mexican key limes. So that's 2, 4, 6, 8 tropical trees that I had out in the greenhouse. And I said, okay, it's time for me to invest in some equipment so I can monitor the temperature from my home. So I put 2 out in the greenhouse and 1 in the grow room. Because in January, I start sowing my seeds for my spring and summer garden. And I have all of this that I'm talking about in different videos. If you go look in the playlist, you'll see I have a list with all of the videos that I have made pertaining to greenhouse. Okay? So now I told you how I heat my greenhouse. I told you how I ventilate it by raising those windows. And if it gets too hot, I will cut a window. I'll cut the whole back out. If you look at that playlist, you'll see it in there. I cut the whole back out so that it can have some ventilation. Now, since we're going into winter, I'm going to tell you how I solarize my greenhouse. I bring in 1 35-gallon container of compost, of active compost, because compost, when it's breaking down, in the center of it, if you put your turkey thermometer or candy thermometer, any of you make candy or candles, you get that long stick. If you put it down in the center of that compost that is active, it will read around 140 degrees. So during the day, I keep the top on the compost, and it is harvesting or being solarized from the sun, because the purpose of having a greenhouse is a clear or transparent covering, either glass or plexiglass or greenhouse cover. So the sun heats everything up in inside, and then when the sun goes down, I take the top off the compost and let the heat escape. And another thing you can do is you can bring in a big container of water. Okay? The sun will heat up the water, and before the sun goes down, you take the top off of the water container, and it will throw out heat. Okay? But when I got my bigger greenhouse, I put it in a different location of that I had my smaller greenhouse, and I put it where it sits directly in the sun and gets sun all day. Now, I don't have to put the compost in. I don't have to put the water in. I can use one small electric heater. And if for some reason it's going to be below 20 degrees, I will plug into. And I already got the commercial cords running up under the wood chips. All I got to do is plug them in. And while I'm on the subject, let me share this with you. If you're new to my garden, you will see my son, son-in-law, and my grandchildren stringing Christmas tree lights in my gala apple tree because it got really warm here in February. We have bipolar weather here. And then it got cold again. But the gala apple tree had beautiful blooms all over it. So we put Christmas tree lights, the old-fashioned kind, not the LED. They won't generate any heat. The old-fashioned, they are called C9s and C7s. Now, when do you think the best time to buy those lights are? Let me see if anybody asks. Answer. If you answer summertime, or if you were thinking summertime, you are absolutely correct. I buy them in the summertime. And they come $25 to a string, and I buy replacement bulbs. This year, because that gala apple tree is getting so big. Oh, let me get back to the story. My son-in-law and my son, they helped me, and we strung the lights all around it. Then we put frost cloths and sheets. And we got a lot of apples this year. Because I didn't want those apples to, blossoms to freeze. And so you can raise the temperature between 8 and 10 degrees if you put the C9 or C7 old-fashioned Christmas tree lights. Just string them around the branches in the tree. And then we put frost cloths and sheets. Now, when the spring came, my son said, Mama, why don't we just leave them here? I said, that's a good idea. So the extension cord, the commercial extension cord, is buried up under the wood chips and goes right to the outlet in the patio. So if that tree decides, because it's the only one, it does it every year, my gala apple tree, it'll start blooming in February. And then we'll start getting more freezes before March. Okay? And you can look up in the Farmer's Almanac, put in your zip code, and it'll tell you when your first expected frost date, freeze, and your last date. And then you can calculate how many weeks you have to start your seeds inside up under a grow light. So when spring comes, bam. And that's another thing I want to tell you about the people that always want to argue on eBay, on Facebook about they still want to use the methods that their grandparents used to plant by. Naked Gardener is still in here. I hope he's still in here. Because he lives in Garland. Wonderful channel. Y'all should check out Naked Gardener. He lives in Garland, which is very close to me. We have people in our area say they want to wait until after Easter or Good Friday to plant their summer garden. But that doesn't give you enough days sometimes before we start having 98, 95, 98, 100-degree weather. They don't believe in climate change. And I'm not going to get political. I'm just saying things are different now. Look at out in California, all the fires are just roaring out there. Look in the weather report. Where's the Hurricane Sally coming again? Getting ready to hit Louisiana again? I love this guy. He has a small channel. His name is Peanut Peppers. And he grows a lot of peppers in Louisiana, and he makes his own pepper seasoning and pepper jelly with grape jelly and pepper. He does a lot of stuff. He really been getting hit hard with these hurricanes. So a lot of times we can't plant and grow things based upon when our fathers or grandparents did it, because we have different weather now. So you have to be more logical and think it out and be strategic in your planning because times have changed and the weather has changed. Okay, so let me get back, guys, and get some questions in here. Colorado, 90 degrees, then snow within 24 hours. We dropped, I think it's 50 degrees. Naked Gardener got to remind me. About 3 years ago, we went from like 90 down to 40. I think it was 50 degrees. Yes, because that was the year that I lost 2 peach trees. And my pomegranate tree didn't produce any fruit that year. And it was producing every year. So we have to be strategic in our thinking and our planning because it's not like it used to be. And that's because we have more emissions and more, I don't want to get all technical, but we got more cars on the road. We do a lot to the environment that we didn't do. Okay. Snow in Colorado in a few days ago. Wow. That is, my God. And it's September. Okay, I saw somebody from Ireland. Hi, Sean. Hi from Ireland. Hope you're all well. You're right about people wanting to do things the old ways, which is good, but it's not sustainable. Our climates and weather is changing. We need to adapt. Yeah, because every year I start putting my, I post on Facebook my tomatoes and they go, where are you? I said, I'm in Texas, I'm in Mesquite. How did you get tomatoes that quick? I don't do what you all do. I don't wait until after Easter. I have tomatoes on the vine by Easter. I'm eating fried green tomatoes on Easter because I start them in January. So it's good to listen to the old ways. For example, we know there's 3 things in our house that we use a lot and we can save and it can replenish our soil. And that is eggshells, banana peels, and used coffee grounds. My grandmother used to do that and put it in her garden, okay? So I'm gonna use some of the things that the old timers did. My grandmother also put seeds in the freezer. I put my seeds in the freezer. My grandfather used to look at the almanac and plant by the moon. I'm not doing that no more because the moon was a little bit different then than it is now. The weather is different, okay? So you got to know what to take and what not to take. They didn't have the technology that we have. I've said this before. There weren't any YouTube videos when I was gardening. I listened to the old timers. I went to the library. I bought all those gardening books because that's how I learned. You now have social media. I just joined Instagram, I think a couple of months ago, was it? Turf is on there. Let's see. Green Organic Love is on there. I've been praying for her because she's out there in California and she has, I think, asthma. She can't even go outside because the air is so bad. So we have to be mindful that times have changed. Yes, Sean from Ireland, that is a fantastic point. Are you using your greenhouse when you start early in January? Everything goes out to the greenhouse for the fall garden the last day in February. Thank you for asking that question, Junkie 23 Kids. Yes. So that's how I get my tomatoes so early. Because I start earlier. Seeds in the freezer. I didn't know that. Kamika, have you seen on TV on the Discovery channels those icebergs are melting and they found buried treasure and they opened it up and it was old seeds that these, I don't know what they call guys, anthropologists or whatever, and they could tell about how old it is, and it would be like squash seeds that are 1,000 years old, and they planted them and they sprouted and they made fruit. And the fruit look a little different than the squash today. How many of you all know that the carrots weren't orange? Go to Baker Creek and see all the different colors that you can buy them in. These are hybrids that they are making. All of the tomatoes weren't perfect. These are the ones that you buy, the celebrity and your early girl. Those are hybrids. I've grown them because they do really well in high heat. But I prefer heirloom. I think a celebrity might be an heirloom. But I think early girl is a hybrid. So all I'm saying is everything is being mass grown and produced to look presentable. Have you ever seen a video where they show you how many bananas they throw away? They got to be a certain width to be a dull banana, certain length. And if they don't, they throw them away. And now people are capitalizing on imperfect foods. I have a friend, she's a retired nurse and hypnotist, and she gets that box and she makes up beautiful meals and put them on Facebook almost every day. Imperfect foods. And there's another one too, I can't think of the name of it. I tried one of them, I didn't like it. I have better stuff in my greenhouse and in my garden than what they were trying to send me. Okay? I did the same thing, Lady Cheryl. I would do it again. Starting my tomatoes in March. You'll be eating tomatoes way before everybody else in your area. Glow 62 is late. That's okay. We're glad you're here. And you can always Misfits. Thank you, Best Know Better TV. You're on the ball. Misfits. That's the one that I signed up for. And I got 2 deliveries and I canceled it. Because I had better fruit outside in the backyard. That's how I was giving it a try and see what happens. Okay. Cucumbers too. Yeah, watermelon. I mean, everything was different. I saw this documentary and it showed all of the food, how it used to be, excuse me, hundreds of years ago, compared to how they have mass produced it. Let me give you an example. Baby carrots. How many of you have bought baby carrots or those shredded carrots and they last forever in your refrigerator? They dip those with a chemical, baby. And they shoot them out and make them that size. They make no baby carrots. Them are full grown behind baby carrots. I mean big carrots that they put through a machine and make them all look the same. And then they put something that have like chlorophyll or I can't think of the name right now. And they dip them in that and bring them out and they won't even rot in your refrigerator. Tell you another thing. Look at your garlic. Look at your garlic packages, not the ones that come individually. Thank you, Yolanda. The garlic that comes, you can get them at the grocery store or Walmart, and it has a little bitty little bag, a net, and it has a little package, and it will say, manufactured in Pennsylvania, and you flip it over, and it says, grown in China. And they use a lot of chlorine and they bleach the garlic. How many of you bought some of that? Tell the truth, because I bought it. Raise your hands if you're with me. Throw your hands up. I bought it before I knew better. You see, my garden used to be Cheryl's Taste of Heaven backyard garden. Because I used Miracle Grow. Anything you told me to make me have cute tomatoes and pretty good stock, I used it because I was working. I didn't become an organic gardener, guys, until about 6 or 7 years ago. When I got second time, and I thought I had cancer to come back. But it wasn't. It was benign tumors. I said, God is trying to tell me something. And that's when I converted. If my sister-in-law is here, sometimes she'll be in, but she won't comment. And she'll call me and say, that was a real good lie, sis. She'll tell you, when I first started my gardening group, I was using Miracle Grow. I didn't know I was corroding my soil. And then I changed. When I had to have that surgery, I said, oh, Lord, you telling me. I better keep on watching what I'm putting in my body. And that comes from what I'm growing too. So I started researching. I bought azomite rock dust. I got a soil test turf. And I found out everything that was missing in my nutrients in my soil. And I bought worm castings as of my rock dust. I stopped using Epsom salt because my soil test told me I didn't need it. I bought biochar. You know how you burn your wood in your fireplace and you sweep it up and you throw it out there in your garden or in your compost? Is good. But I don't burn my fireplace anymore. So I bought biochar off of Amazon from a company that does it for you. Anything I thought that would make my garden better, I did it. I'm telling you, I converted. Because I said, God is trying to tell me something. Putting these tumors all up in my neck. That's why I wear chokers all the time. Because I had radiation therapy and I had surgery up in here and it's discolored me. But I'm working on it. But I don't care about no discolored neck. Because I'm alive. Y'all don't hear me. I'm alive. I'll take a discolored neck any day. As long as I have breath in me, honey, I'm alive. I just thank God for that. So, where was I? So I stopped using the chemicals and I stopped playing. Because God was trying to tell me something. I had a tumor on my parathyroid, a tumor on my thyroid they had to take off, and it was wrapped around my vocal cords, and I couldn't talk for a year. And I couldn't sing for 18 months. I'm telling you all, that's when I changed my name to Cheryl's Organic Food Forest. I said, never again. You are not going to have to slap me down and put me in the bed recovering from surgery for me to get it, Lord. I'm going to acknowledge you. I'm going to give you all the glory and all the credit for everything that you have made, and I'm going to grow it the way you intended for it to be grown. Organically. Now, I don't know nobody if you use chemicals, but I will tell you this. If you ever stop using them and start composting and start adding organic matter, your garden will change. You won't even recognize that you have grown what you've grown. My daughter-in-law called me the other day and she said, wow, your garden has really grown. She started dating my son. They've been married, I think, 4 or 5 years now when I made that transition. And now, compared what it looked like back then to the way it looks like now, it's totally different because it's organic. And I can walk out there and just eat my strawberries. Walk out there and pull some grapes. I don't have to wash them off because I don't put nothing on it that's going to hurt me. Now, if it look like, it needs to be washed off, I'll bring it inside and I'll wash it. But I'll sit there and have my breakfast outside while I'm watering the grass. It's a beautiful thing. Anybody ever eat raw okra? Delicious. It's not slimy. It's crisp. It's crunchy. I'm telling you guys, you will fall in love with your food again when you stop putting those chemicals on it. If you don't believe me, just start off slow. Just start one garden bed or one container without all the chemicals and then compare it. The taste is incredible. I can't eat a tomato out of a restaurant unless it's a really, reputable place that have real good food and buy from farmers markets and that type of thing. I can't eat no Wendy's with an orange tomato with look like it's white on the. I can't eat that junk. It doesn't even taste good. My mama used to call it hot house tomatoes. When you start eating organically grown food, it's so delicious, and your taste buds are just so in tune with it because you have eliminated all of that junk out of your system. Now, I'm not going to sit here and talk to you or tell you that I eat everything organic. I'll have a burger every now and then. I'm human. I will eat that stuff every now and then. But for the most part, I eat good food. You want to know what I had for lunch? Green beans, chickpeas, sweet potatoes, okra, and a little chicken broth that I steamed it all in. That's some good food. And put a little cha-cha on the side. That's some good food. I'll take that food any day over a hamburger. It just tastes better and it's so much better for you. Okay, let me get back here. See what I missed. Where can I find celebrity garlic? I don't know about that. I mentioned celebrity tomatoes. Or Erica, you might be want to talk. You might be saying organic garlic. You could buy that out of any nursery. I'm here to 40 years after the cancer fight. God has a purpose. Bless you. 40 years. That is so beautiful. That's going to be me. Another 11 years, that's going to be me. My. Amen. Amen. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, everybody. Okay, so praise be to God. Yes, Latanya, it tastes totally different without the chemicals. It does. It really does. Brian, Bria's brother Brian, he doesn't like fruit. But he'll eat my fruit. His mother can go and buy fruit, but he'll eat mine. Because he feels like it's his. Because he's seen the little stick of a tree. When he was a kid, and I would say, don't be playing with my tree. Then I let him water it. Bria's been working in the garden since she was in a walker. Because I retired and I started keeping her. And y'all know who Bria is. She my little niece, my little grandchild, my daughter's 2 kids. They be over here the most. All of my grandkids, when I see them, they want to go into the garden. They want to help. But the rest of them, because of the pandemic, don't come over that much. My daughter lives less than 2 miles from me. So, yeah, start one container at a time, and you will notice the difference. Now, let me share this with you. And I think I've said this before. I don't know what's been used on a plant before I got it. I don't know if I bought seeds, and they're heirloom seeds from Baker Creek, if the gardener or farmer used the chemical. I don't know that. But I can tell you about what I've grown and how I've grown it after it came into my property. It's been organically grown. Okay? So I'm not going to say everything is 100% organic. I don't know that. But I try to eliminate chemicals when it comes on my property and when it's in my possession. What is the best? Okay, my nickname is Okra. Mama, sister, daughter said because she's eating a lot of it this summer. Zach wants to know, he has a container garden. What is the best soil I should be using? Zach, there are a lot of organic products that you can buy. I don't buy, per se, organic soil. I get whatever's on sale. And then that's when I add my compost to it. Or black cow when I can get it. Or my worm castings, like I said, rock dust. I don't keep buying that year after year after year for my garden beds. I only do that, when I'm starting or establishing new soil. But I like Vigoro. And I do grow my seedlings in organic and natural Jiffy seed starting mix. But soil, I'm not going to fib to you guys. I buy whatever's on sale. Okay? And from that point on, I start adding organic matter. Okay. J3GS Farms loves raw okra. Man, I never had raw okra before until I started eating it out of my garden. I just love it. And my little Bria will eat it raw. New subscriber, blessed too. Thank you so much. I am so happy that you're here. Okay, did I miss anything? Y24 me 57. I am a cancer survivor, 3 years. It was caught very early. I have been eating organically for years before my diagnosis, and I believe that the cancer didn't spread because of your diet. God is good. I agree with you. Thank you, Turk, for putting that on there. Somebody is from Ecuador. Thank you for being here, Roger. I'm so glad that you're here. Um, Keith Fall, you work for botanical interest? Or was there a question and I missed it? Okay. Another new subscriber. Thank you. First year gardening. You are not alone. We have a lot of new gardeners. What can I use in replacement of Miracle Grow plant food? Thank you, T. Moore, for for asking that question. You can start using fish emulsion for on your green leafy things. I like Alaskan fish emulsion. And you can go back and replay this and write it down. If you're working with flowering plants like tomatoes and peppers, I like Neptune's fish emulsion with seaweed, worm castings. Do you have a lawn? Do you have your lawn mowed? You could take those um, clippings from your grass, your lawn, and put them in a 5-gallon bucket and let it ferment for a couple of weeks. And then put that in your containers or your garden beds. You could do the same thing with your compost and make compost tea. Or you can grow comfrey Russian blocking 14. You cannot buy a seed for it. You can get a cutting off of eBay. I got a cutting off of eBay, and I have transplanted it all over my food forest, propagating it. And what I do with the comfrey is, you can just chop the leaves up and drop it and put the wood chips or leaves back on top of it. Or you can watch my video on how to ferment it for 2 weeks. It turns into a really stinky liquid fertilizer, and you can dilute it. That's how I'm growing all of my fruit trees with. I don't buy any fertilizer. Only fertilizer I bought was a citrus organic fertilizer off of eBay, and it's called Citrus Mix. Citrus Mix. And my trees were getting a real yellow or whatever. I think they were getting a little bit too much shade because I have them right up under my banana trees and my okra. Anyway, I gave them some of that, and the yellowing went away. It didn't go away when I gave them some fish emulsion with seaweed. It didn't go away when I gave them the fermented comfrey liquid fertilizer. But when I added that organic citrus mix, I will attest to that. That really works. Okay. All right. Miracle Grow didn't do my garden well. She grows in containers. Worm castings. I love them, Yolanda. I would add some worm castings every year to my garden. Okay, guys. Now I'm just going to close real soon, and I want to share with you that come winter, I told you about heating your greenhouse. I shared with you how I have the remote thermostat so I can know what the temperature is inside. And I'm going to share with you, I hit on it, but I really want to expound a little bit on the white powdery mildew. When it comes in contact with moisture from too much humidity, I fight that fungus I don't know where it comes from. It might be in my soil. It might be on the frame of the greenhouse. I've wiped it down, put a new cover on it, but I still get it every year. Last year was the first year that I didn't get it real bad. And that is because I used that product that I introduced to you all when I first started doing the live chats, and it's called Serenade. Now, right now, Serenade is expensive on Amazon, but I'm sure as the pandemic gets better, the price is going to go down. I think I paid like $29 for it, and then I saw it for $59. You don't need a lot of it. Now, there are some people that that emailed me and told me they use milk and water. They use baking soda and water. They use a little milk and baking soda and water. And somebody told me to use peroxide. And I tested the peroxide out the way they told me to, and it burned up my leaves. So I'm not doing that again. But the milk and the water and the baking soda and the water, even with a little darn sip, it would not kill the strand of the mildew white fungus that I had in my greenhouse. Serenade is the only thing that took it out. Now, I'm not one of those YouTube creators that just keep telling you use this product, use this product. I'm not getting any money off of anything that I recommend to you all. But I will tell you this. That product worked for me. And I used it last year. Actually, it would be this year. Yeah, January and February of this year. I used it as a preventative spray, and I didn't have a big problem. Okay. No, somebody mentioned something about worm castings. Yeah, Turf, I know you're doing that, and I saw somebody else in here has a worm farm. I'm not into that, but I got a lot on my plate, so it's something that I probably couldn't do. Okay, so is there a question that I missed, guys? Yolanda says she's on a balcony. You still can compost, Yolanda. You can compost and brew your own. I think Turf is saying it. And brew my own tea is really easy. You can brew your own. I just ferment. I put mine out in the sun. And I have 2 gallons out there to do my last fertilizing of anything that I'm growing out there with. I will be doing that maybe this week toward the weekend. And then I don't fertilize anything after that until the winter is over. Okay, Glow62 bought a wonderful pomegranate tree recently and want to keep it in a pot for a while. I put it in a 15-gallon pot. Is that big enough? When should I fertilize it? I wouldn't fertilize anything right now that's new. You really shouldn't fertilize the tree the first year. I want you to know that my tree is humongous. I have a Utah Gold Sweet pomegranate. It is 5 years old, and I've gotten fruit 3 years. And one year in that 3-year period, I didn't get any fruit. I got fruit this year. But it is a golden type of outside with a tinge of rust color, and inside the seeds is sweet and juicy, and they're light pink. I don't know. I try to grow stuff that everybody doesn't have, stuff that I can't get at the grocery store. I don't want to grow the same thing I can get at the grocery store. Put it that way. So, is that pot big enough? Yes, it is. My little trees, I got them from Ison's nursery. Same place where I got my muscadine vines, little saplings. They look like a little twig. They're about this tall when I got them. Maybe a little bit bigger. Real skinny. And I started them off in a 5-gallon pot. Then I up-potted them to a 10-gallon pot. And then I put them in a 25-gallon fabric pot. And then the next year I put them in the ground. So you're fine. If you got a 15-gallon pot, they can stay there for a couple of years. And I see a lot of people growing wonderful. Hi, love lady. Thank you for coming in. Turf therapy. Neptune's is right. It is the truth. If you want something to grow, put that Neptune's on it. If it's flower or fruiting. I'm telling you guys, it works. It works. Your plain fish emulsion is not going to work with something that needs the flower. I love it. Good night, Erica. Thank you for coming. I would love to do the worms, but it's just too much. It's too much work. Okay, so I think I got everybody's question. I think I got everything about greenhouse out tonight. Thank you. I'm glad you enjoyed the live Sleepless in Carolina. If you guys have a YouTube channel, please put yes in your gardening zone. I know Turf is in here. Sleepless in Carolina has a YouTube channel. Trying to see if I see anybody else in here. You know, people come in and they leave, and I understand that. Mama, sister, daughter. Mama, sister, daughter has a YouTube channel. Angela's Garden Sense is in the house. She has a YouTube channel. I'm scrolling up, guys, and I'm just trying to see. I don't want to miss anybody. If I miss somebody, charge it to my head and not my heart. No Better TV. Do you have a channel? You just sound like you got a channel. Sobenary. I gotta remember that. And then it's giving me a chance to go back and look and see if I missed anybody. Oh, I missed this. Lisa Nelson said, I checked my garlic the other day and was satisfied seeing distributed in Orlando, Florida. Why did I flip the tag over like you said and see it was made in China? Mercy. I told you. I told you. I told all my kids, be careful. Dagny Taggart said, we are poisoning ourselves everywhere. Yes, we are. What? Garlic dipped in chlorine? Yes, ma'am. And the carrots. Oh, honey, no better TV said, and apples that last forever in the bowl on the counter. How is that possible? They are dipped in wax. Fill a dish sink full of Dawn dish soap and put them in there and turn them over. And watch you see that film, that waxy film come right up and get cloudy on the top of that shiny apple that was shiny when you put it in the sink. Dipped in wax. Sweet potatoes, white potatoes, Yukon Gold, they are sprayed with a sprout inhibitor. That is a chemical to stop them from sprouting. Now, all these in Europe have stopped selling chemically treated products, and they recently started that practice in the United States. They're going to give Whole Foods a run for their money, because Whole Foods is good, but they get your whole paycheck. Do you recommend azomite rock dust for the garden? Yes, sunshine. I mentioned that. When I went organic, that's the first thing I added was azomite rock dust, worm castings, biochar, garden lime for peppers and tomatoes. And I think I mentioned everything. Have you ever planted Black Beauty beefsteak tomatoes? Yes, I've grown them, Zach. It's a beautiful tomato. Tastes so sweet like a plum. My youngest son, he's I think about 38. Yeah, I think my baby's about 38. He used to come home just eating right off the vine. So it tastes like plums to him. Okay, I think I got everybody. Let me go back and see if everybody putting their channels in. Okay. Okay. The key to order. Can you use pressure treated wood for raised garden beds? The answer is technically they say no. They say it can leach into the soil. I don't use them. Now I will use concrete, and some people call them cinder blocks. But I did some research. They haven't made cinder blocks, Home Depot or Lowe's since the 80s. So you just put that ash, cinder ash, it was considered a chemical, and it can leach into your soil. The concrete blocks today do not have them in it. Now, if you have some old blocks, I heard somebody say something, I think it's some Katrina blocks that were real old, they can have that poison in it. But the new concrete blocks that you buy out of the stores today don't have that in it. Yeah, Turf, I don't use any pressure treated wood. Rhonda Moffitt says she mixed both of them together. Sounds good to me, the Neptunes and the fish emulsion. Sounds good to me, because you can fertilize with one week and 3 weeks later fertilize with the other. It's going to get mixed, ain't it? Sure will. Good to know. Thanks for that tip. Okay. All right, that's it, guys. I was on here longer than I anticipated. I hope I shared something with you that you can use. I hope I motivated you in some type of way. Any advice on how to make fig tree fruit? Mine is 2 years old. Okay, I'm going to tell you something. Compost. Telling you not what I think. I'm telling you what I know. I'm going to tell you how I know it works. I don't know whose video it was, but I was up late one night and they said, if you're getting ready to plant a fruit tree and you're going to plant it like a year later and you got a spot pick out for it, it said, take some of your compost, dig a hole. It's called composting in place. I did that a few feet away from where I was going to plant, about 4 feet away from my brown turkey fig tree. I was going to plant a Miho Satsuma tree, because it could take temperatures real low. 10 degrees, I think. It might be 20. No, it's 10, because I wouldn't put it in the ground if it was 20, because that means it's cold at 16 degrees. I wouldn't put that in the ground. Anyway, where I was going to put this tree, I started putting compost in there. Then when the spring came, I drug the tree out the greenhouse and I set it there. So I remember where it was going to go, right? That compost started breaking down, and when it rains, that compost tea that it makes up in that hole was feeding the fig tree. Now the fig tree is about 8 or 9 feet and real wide. Go back and look at my last 2 videos, I show it. Last 3. I showed the one on this side of the food forest Saturday, but the 2 videos before that, I showed the ones on the south side of the food forest. They are huge. And sweetie, they came from unrooted, pencil-sized cuttings that I purchased off of eBay. And in 4 months, they had little bitty figs on them. I had them in potting soil. Right there in my dining room with a grow light. And I did a video. You go back and look at my videos about 3 years ago. And I'll say, tasting the figs after only 4 months. And what I'm going to do, because I've been seeing a couple of YouTubers do this, I think they must put their camera right in front of their PC. because you can tell it's like a little black box, like it's a video, and they start showing a tree or something that they grew, a bush or grapevine, and they'll show how small it was, and then they'll do another clip and another clip, and then they'll show you what it looks like today. I think that's what I'm going to do. I don't want to announce what I'm going to do, because sometimes when I announce what I'm going to do, somebody beat me to it. So I'm like to give them advance notice what I'm going to do. But I'm going to demonstrate that with something in my yard. Okay? All right. Time-lapse filming. I thought time-lapse filming was when you put the camera there and then you speed it up. And it shows when the flower blooms and open up. This is just putting pieces of video, old video together and editing it. I don't think that's the same. I might be wrong. Turf, you still in here? Because I know you the man on that videoing and stuff. But anyway, thank you all so much. Thanks. I'm going back and watch from the beginning, but I even learned so much coming in at the end. Oh, thank you, Glow62. Thank you, Lavender Lady. Oh, do you grow lavender? I use a lot of lavender in my products, in my natural products that I sell. Oh, Turf put it on here. Thank you so much. I appreciate it if you all will go to my website, order a little something, and just try a product out. You won't regret it. I promise you. I put a lot of love and a lot of experience in those products. Okay. Oh, it's difficult to grow lavender in Florida. Okay, I understand. They probably taking pictures and stitching them together in the video, Lady Cheryl. That makes sense. I know. I'm saving more of my videos that I upload to YouTube. I'm saving them. I don't have it with me, but I bought it off of Amazon. It's a little thing that you put into your iPhone, I guess any kind of phone, and you can download and transfer your film, your movies, your videos onto it. Oh, I recognize your name, Mazzano. I think yours, you must have ordered like on Friday or Saturday. I think I took you to the post office this morning. I think I took your order to the post office today. Thank you so much. When do I normally do lives? New to gardening and just subscribe. I do them every Monday. Every Monday at 7 Central Time. Unless it's a holiday. The hair milk is the bomb. Okay. Are you on 2 different platforms? I see you mention people that don't seem to be typing here on the... No? No, I went back. I'm on 1 platform. I went back and I started from the very beginning. You probably came in late, Angie. Angela's Gardening Sense. You probably came in late. And so what I did was I scrolled back up and I got everybody's comments to make sure that I didn't forget anybody. Okay, guys, it's getting late. I need my little beauty there. Still got allergy problems. I need to get some sleep. I want to thank you again. I think I already said that, didn't I? Thank you guys very much. Good night, everybody. You know that I love you and God loves you too. Night, night.